We have a lot to talk about today. Seam rippers. Gotta talk about it. I do have a couple of pieces of fabric that I'd like to show you. Fabric that's been used and I have seam ripped and torn apart, and torn apart is kind of rough. That's not what I did. I just ripped it gently with my seam rippers. But I have some really good fabric for some of my wonky blocks. And let's see, what else? Oh, I want to talk a little bit about organizational skills, because Mama's got a problem over here. So I wanted to know what you guys are all thinking about the Marie Kondo method. So we'll talk about that a little later. First of all, I'd like to say, if you enjoy my kind of, I don't know what I'm doing, ruminating about my life with a little quilting mixed in just for good measure, please like and share and subscribe to my channel. Okay, first off, here we go. Let me show you these tablecloths that I found. I found 2 tablecloths. I'm pretty sure they're from the same person, but who knows? It could have been someone different. This is the fabric. This looks very 70s to me, don't you think? 70s? It was a really large round tablecloth. This right here is one of the ends of it. Do you know? The pieces in the center, do you know, it had a large center piece, which is the width of normal fabric right off the bolt. I think it's 44 inches, 42, something like that. So it's 2 yards. Awesome fabric. I mean, I may be able to trade with one of my other quilter friends because there's enough of it. But this is some, I mean, if you're going to make strips, look at all these choices you have. There's all kind of fussy cut places in here if you like to do fussy cutting. I mean, this is a good piece of fabric. And there's lots of it. I've already cut one of the side pieces into strips. And I made my own little, whatever you're supposed to call these, some kind of, what's it called? Like, I don't know. Anyway, I made my own. So this is ready to go. These are, well, I have a few 1-inch squares. I mean 1-inch strips in here because it was just a little bit of fabric left. But most of these are, I think, 2.5 inches. I don't have a ruler right here. I messed that up. 2.5 or 2-inch strips. So this was out of a tablecloth that I got at Goodwill. I know some of you have an issue with Goodwill because it's not a charity. Nobody ever said it was a charity. It's a store where things have already been picked and organized for you. And you can get a tablecloth out of really good quilting fabric for $1.99. Did you hear that? $1.99. Enough fabric for me, and maybe I could do a trade. A lot of times ladies in my guild will have a day where they're like, you know, bring in pieces that you're not using, and they just sort of trade off pieces, and it works out kind of nice. Speaking of my guild right now, next Saturday, my guild is really great here in Lafayette, Louisiana. The Quilters Guild Acadien. It's pretty good. We're having a treasures, tea, and treats auction next Saturday at Tops Woodwork in Lafayette, Louisiana, which is just a cool place to go if you're redoing your kitchen or if you're building, okay? Just so there's a little call out to Tops. So here it is. This is one of my favorite events. It's the first time, this year will be the first time that it's done in the day and open to the public. Usually, I mean, I guess it is open to the public, but a guild member will invite a friend or something like that. But this is just open to the public, and there are always the best things to bid on. Last year, I can't even begin to tell you all the great things that I got. So, if you want tickets, the tickets are $10 each. There's going to be tea and treats, and a silent auction and a live auction, and it's going to be tons of fun. Just look up online, Quilters Guild Acadien, one word, at gmail.com. The tickets are $10. They will not be available at the door because only so many people can fit in the showroom, you know, so it's, you have to buy tickets, and when the tickets are sold, they're sold. But the proceeds of this event go to education. Our guild does a lot for the community, really. I think my favorite thing, the thing I'll call out this time, is that at the libraries, they invited children to come and they taught them how to quilt. So I think that's how you got to carry this stuff on. So here it is, Quilters Guild Acadien. Next Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m., $10 a ticket. Come and get you some really beautiful things at the auction. Okay, so now that's my public service announcement. Okay, so we did this one. I also found this one. This had to be the same people because this was a round tablecloth too. This must have been made for a child's room. Look at this pretty fabric. This is like, I want to say 2 1/4 yard also. It might be a little under that. But look at this. And it had, it's Kaufman fabric. Look how it was just finished very simply. But it must have been this child, whoever's room this must have been a beautiful room, you know. But this is a lot of fabric too. Actually almost too much for me. So I probably will be doing a trade with somebody for some of it. And again, one of these end pieces that is round, I'm going to cut this into strips and make a jelly roll. That's the word I was looking for earlier, jelly roll with that, so that I'll have it ready to go. And then once it's already in these strips that are, you could always cut it into triangles to do flying geese or little squares or whatever you want to do it in. So again, $1.99 a piece. That's under $5 right there. Look at, I mean, hello. The stuff is out there. You don't always have luck. I mean, that's just, I'm making it look like every time I go out I find 5 yards of fabric. That's not true. The fact is, I am a treasure hunter. It's one of my joys. So I just keep looking and looking. So I already have tons of things. I could show you something every time I come on here and make it out like I just bought that yesterday. But I have lots of things that I have purchased in the last few months, you know. So, we've got that. So really good. Let's see. Oh, I showed you some Karnak fabric. It was green and brown. Yeah, I don't know what I did with it. Oh, it's right here. Let's get it. That I bought in Homa. And I did just buy this recently. What I did not realize when I showed it to you, and it's this is 2 1/4 yard. That must be my lucky number or something. This fabric, I think, is from, I'm going to say the 60s, maybe 70s. Again, that must be what's happening for me. Look what it says. Another fine fabric from, oh, I showed you one that was cut off, Karnak. I've looked online. I can't find anything about this company. I found a couple of pieces of fabric for sale, but no history on the company. When they were opened, when did they close? So if anybody knows anything about the history of this company or when they were in business, the couple of pieces of fabric that I saw are something similar to this. Not in color, but they all have either a flower or a sun, and it's something, and they're pretty well lined up. Like, it looks like this was their vibe. Like the Karnak stones in France, I think in a town called Karnak, they're megalithic stones. And they are all lined up in rows. So there must be some kind of, first of all, that's my vibe right there. I mean, it's a mystery. Now I'm going to have to find out if this in any way, if this person that named the company Karnak was in any way inspired by these megalithic stones, or was it a place they went on vacation when they got the idea to do fabric, or, you know, now I want to know, because that's just, again, that's how I roll. So please comment if you know anything about the Karnak fabric or textile company. I don't know anything more about it than that, but I am so curious. So Now, I do want to talk about organizational. Look, you see this? This is the kind of thing that pleases me. You see this little cup? I'm calling this my Marie Kondo moment. It's a little cup that's so pretty. I travel with this. Do you hear me? Anywhere I go, if I'm sewing, I have this with me. Why should this please me to have this little bitty, pretty little glass cup for my, seam rippers? I mean, like, what good does that do? It makes me joyful. It makes me so happy when I set it up. And the fact is, because I really have a strong relationship with my seam rippers. That tells you a lot about me right now. Most quilters probably hate their seam rippers. I do not. I love my seam rippers. I love them. Okay, maybe I don't love them. But I need them to do what I need them to do. I'm going to tell you a little something about them. I have these two here. I probably have 15 like this. These come free. You buy a pair of scissors, you get a little thing free. I bought a sewing box for my granddaughter for Christmas, who was only 4 and she wanted her own box. But, I had to take this out of the box because she cannot have the seam ripper. These are fine. They do the job. Look at that. Too small for my hands. My hands are just, I'm going to say they don't have a good hand. They're just not, it's not enough. This is not enough for me. When I need to rip something, this is like having a paper spoon and you have hot soup to eat. A big old bowl of hot soup and you're starving and somebody gives you a paper spoon. That's what this is like. Oh, and you're going to find out I like to talk in analogies and stuff too. Okay. These just aren't enough. But I have them in here. You can travel with them. That might be good to go maybe if you're trying to keep your weight down and trying to keep just bring as few things, really kind of Zen level traveling to your next retreat. Something like this. You can make do for a weekend. Whatever. Okay. I love this one because look, it's nice and big. Fits my hand. Look at that. It's got this, I don't know, it's not aerodynamic, but I don't know. It's got some kind of bend in it that makes it fit my hand really, really well. Long and lean. I just like it. The top would not stay on. I'm a little OCD. I put a little of that sticky, I don't know, globby stuff that might come on a box with an advertisement sheet of paper glued on top of it. I put a little bit of that in there. That's how Mama fixed that problem. So the lid would stay on. That might be a little OCD, but look, if the lid does not at least act like it's related to what it comes from, that's not good. It's not working for me. So, but this point, which is very sharp, don't get that twisted. Okay, I'm not trying to say it's not sharp, but look, it's not, and it's thick. So maybe this was intended for big stitch quilting, because this probably won't get in really tiny, tiny traditional stitches. Let's see if I put that right there on that clock. You can kind of, okay, this is what I have to do. And this in here, this is where the cutting happens. And this one is just not sharp. So there's a little bit of, like, you kind of have to dig to cut that, I want to say fabric, but it's not, it's the thread. So this one you have to work a little bit harder. I am a big stitch quilter. I make big stitches. I'm not even going to try to put like 10 stitches on a needle. No, that's not going to happen. But the fact that it's just not sharp, I also heard her tip. I saw this on more than one place online, that if you run this through a sheet of tin foil, that it actually will sharpen it, and I've done that several times. It's not sharp, but I'm keeping it